And we're live.
Nice.
Started that one off that way.
Need a clapper.
Yeah, I know.
I can make my butt cheeks clap.
Can you really?
No.
Oh. Have you seen that where people do that?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Just go to the Westerner.
Well,
Or Gracie's.
Won't be seeing people clap their butt cheeks.
Or college.
Because I hate country music and I'll never go to the Westerner.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome
I like it.
back, guys. Got our new mic stands.
Hey.
So
Look at
professional.
us.
We're just so.
This is why we're allowed to have nice things,
Get
because
my
we're
mic
nice
crossed.
guys.
That's right.
Nice, funny guys.
You're a nice guy.
Hey.
I'm kind of a
Thanks.
dick.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk about that
Welcome
later.
back to Beyond the MetCon.
It is Beyond the MetCon.
It's beyond it.
I don't remember the last one I was here for. The travel this summer has been rough.
Yeah, you been everywhere. Can't be mad at it though.
No,
seeing
it's
that
good.
last year you
Didn't. Did not.
That was a weird year.
Yeah, it was.
But all right, well, cool. So today's topic we're gonna kind of touch on programming, what this last week meant, like what the benchmarks and all that good stuff.
Yep. So it's the 18th. We just came off the test week, I guess it could be called, right?
Yeah. It was
So it was hard. There was a lot of difficult workouts stacked back to back.
Yeah,
For
I'll
sure.
say this was probably one of the hardest weeks of training I think I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it was that each one was a not to say that I don't try every week
Right.
or every workout, but like this is a benchmark and I'm going to be scored on each one.
Right.
And I had to give it 100% because it was, I mean, you didn't want to be like, oh, well, I could have went harder,
Yeah.
shoulda, coulda, woulda. But yeah, it was seriously like today's Sunday. We finished our tests yesterday. I'm beyond sore today.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be doing my ice bath a couple times today.
Right. Yeah. All of the workouts this week were benchmark workouts,
Yep.
and we can talk a little bit about
Yep.
what that means. But there were none this week that, like that recovery or
Yeah.
like kind of like, oh, I'll just take this one
Yeah.
easy. The way that they were designed kind of required a
100%.
sprint,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so it's tough. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Like normally, like if it's a workout, like let's say in the 90-minute window of the froggy athletes, the RX plus for you outsiders, I call it froggy, but was like, let's say you normally do the weightlifting, a workout, and then there's like a finisher as they call it. I'll normally kind of be like, okay, I'll just get through that, or I'll skip that for today,
Right.
just because I'm like tired or whatever. But no, it was like, I got to do it. I
Right.
got to get it done.
Right.
Otherwise, I get a freaking 0 on that one.
Yeah.
Which I did get a few zeros.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
So proud
I
of
really
you.
worked for those.
0 to hero.
Oh, dude.
It's from Hercules.
I know.
Yeah.
God, I love
Pulled
that.
that out. That was
Yeah,
solid.
I was just surprised you pulled a Hercules reference. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so before the podcast, you had talked about those a few questions. You want to dive right into that, or do you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's good. So I think, in particular, this week, and then I think just even in other times throughout the week, there's conversations and not rumblings, but like people are like,
Yeah.
why are we back squatting again? Why are we, we just did the CrossFit Total. Why are we doing a 10 rep max front squat? And I think that it's important for you to explain the programming that you uses and that it's not necessarily you and Brittany just be like, I'm going to torture these people.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit in a past podcast, but I think we touched on it just briefly.
Yep.
So for you guys that don't know, there's a guy named Seth. He does the programming for a company called Jump Ship. He worked for a company prior to that was called, I'm drawing a blank on it. I've remembered it up to this point. What was the other?
I don't know.
Misfits.
Oh, okay.
So he worked for Misfits for like, I think they started in 2010 or 2009, something like that. And he was the programmer for that. And then I believe it was last year, if not a year and a half ago. I think it was a year and a half ago. He and his wife left Misfits and started their own company of Jump Ship. I guess him and the owners or something, whatever. And a buddy of mine that had dropped into the gym during regionals was doing the programming, and I'd seen a couple of his posts about it. So I messaged him, talked to him about it a little bit, and he was like, yeah, dude, it's great. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. So over COVID, whenever the shutdown happened, I was working out in my garage, and that's whenever I started it. The competitors, But the thing that really intrigued me was it was a 90-minute window, because a lot of competitor programming is like 2, 3, 4 hours if you can get it all in,
right?
You know, and like beat you in the floor every day.
Sure.
But I love the 90-minute window because it's structured. All right, you're gonna do the warm up. Here's the weightlifting. Here's the workout. Here's a good high skill finisher, whatever. And here's some extra credit stuff if you want to do it. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But the big thing that made me really excited about it was that you had this Jump Ship 90 program. Then you have a Jump Ship 60 program, which is these are all based off a clock.
Yep.
Then you have the affiliate programming, and it's all based off of that 90-minute program.
Got it.
So I thought it was way cool that, because as it's called, the Cool Kids Table. Remember the Cool Kids Table in high school? I wasn't a part of that. You probably were. I can see that because you are pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I like to think I'm cool, whether it was actually the Cool Kids Table or not. If I was there, it was probably pretty cool.
Yeah, it's probably pretty cool.
Double lunch. I was a double lunch guy.
Were you really?
Yeah. No, I'd go get double lunches.
Go get seconds?
Well, not even seconds. I would just say I want 2 lunches.
You could do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it cost more. So, like, my check that was supposed to last me for a month from my mom lasted me about 2 weeks. But
you're growing,
anyway,
boy, Lambert.
Cool kid.
But yeah, Cool Kids Table. So the connotation I'm using again towards the programming is definitely different than what I was just referring to then. In the connotation in programming in gyms, the Cool Kids Table are those kids that are like, oh, we're doing the high skill stuff. We're doing the competitors program. We're better than you.
Yeah.
It kind of creates this like us versus them mentality. And a lot of gyms that have like competitors creates that atmosphere of separation. And
right.
I don't want that at all.
Yep.
So I thought it was super cool because if you're doing the froggy workouts in class, you're literally doing them alongside our everydayers that are doing the normal class programming. And you could be like, they could tell the difference because you're doing ring muscle ups instead of pull ups. You're doing heavier snatches instead of lighter. You know what I mean? Like there's the subtle differences, but outside looking in, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was way cool because then it gives it a chance for people that want to be competitive. Let's say they work a full 9-to-5 job. They can't go in during the middle of the day and do all the extra bells and whistles and stuff. They can still come in at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., do the competitors' versions of the things and not feel like they're in a corner by themselves.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So that was my big draw towards this programming. And then the other side of it is that whenever I talked about doing the affiliate stuff, I was talking to Seth on like messaging back and forth. And then he was like, hey, let's set up a phone call. I normally talk to every affiliate owner that he's like, I want to explain to you what we do, how we do it, if you have any questions. And that was cool. So we literally talked on the phone for an hour.
Oh, that's awesome. Just
about programming, and the way that he programmed was very similar to kind of my thought process on the strength, kind of strength biased, kind of, skills, a lot of stuff. But yeah, so I used to do the programming, and it would take me about 2 to 4 hours. 4 hours would be like if I was really drawing blanks that week. Yeah. Every Sunday. I'd say 2 to 3 hours every Sunday.
And you'd write out the week.
Write out the week. I'd write down, and the reason why it would take me that long is because I would want the week to flow. Like I wasn't just like, yeah, we'll do deadlifts tomorrow. Let's do hang cleans tomorrow. Let's do kettlebell swings tomorrow. Let's do snatches, which is all hinging and lower back, right?
Yep.
So it's like I would try to make the week flow, make it make sense. Like if we did something, I would want to do the counter the next couple days. You know what I mean? Like to make sure that we're not overusing things, we're not getting people injured. So kind of coming back full circle to what you said about like this week we did the CrossFit Total, I believe, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we did a build to a heavy set of 10 front squat in 3 sets on Thursday. And then we did Fran. So the thought process behind that was, obviously I didn't do the programming, but as a person that's done programming and years of experience in this, doing the total, we worked up to a heavy single back squat, right? So that was your squat. But the thing is the total amount of volume in the sets and reps that you did in that is relatively small.
Sure. Like
no one really did over like say 15 squats that day.
Yeah.
Because
unlikely.
You might do sets of 2 or 3 or 5 or something with the warm up, and then lighter weight you might do a couple like 3 or 4 or 5. But as you progress to heavier, you're not doing like sets of 5 or sets of 3. You're doing 1 add weight, 1 add weight, and that's 7% of the class. Like that's just watching them. Then we did the row for that day, the 500 meter row for Tom.
Oh, right.
And then before that we did the deadlift and then the row. So looking at all that, everything's fine. You know what I mean? In the sense of like total volume for your legs for that day was actually relatively low.
Sure.
Then the next day we did the heavy set of the 10 front squat. So whenever I would program something like 3 sets of 10, 5 sets of 10, squats, press, deadlift, bench press, any of those things,
right.
the thought for me personally is that your intensity, I guess is the word, would be pretty low. Even though 10 is a lot, anything past 5 is like a marathon. You know,
right.
It's like breathing wise, you can't really breathe. But like, let's say your 1 rep back squat's 225, and we're doing a heavy set of 10. A front squat. You're not going to load up 205 on a front squat and go for 10, right?
Yeah.
You're probably going to do 135 for a front squat because your back squat was 225 for a 1 rep max.
Right.
So the intensity, meaning that the weight and the reps are going to offset each other.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's a lot of reps, but so that's kind of where that programming kind of comes into play. The other side of it too was that we were doing Fran right after that, which is more front squats, 45 squats total plus the 30 in the weightlifting. So in CrossFit, if you haven't noticed, we do some kind of heavy lift, and then typically we do that same lift at a lighter weight.
Right.
A lot of people like to do that because it's like overloading. You know, like you're going to be doing let's say we build to a heavy set of 5 deadlift, and then we do something like Diane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we've really heavy, and then when you go to lift that, it feels super light. Your CNS is primed. You're ready. So doing a heavy set of 10 in 3 sets, because think about it. Let's take your 1 rep. What is your 1 rep max front squat? Do you know? Just ballpark.
I don't know.
Say 300, 315.
Probably 360.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking A. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So 360. So let's say we're going to build to a heavy set of 10 in 3 sets.
Right.
Right. I all right, guys, warm up. Hit you a couple with the front squat. I'm going to start this clock. We got 12 minutes.
Right.
So in 3 sets, you're going to go up weight. Right. You're going to hit some warm up sets, and then you're going to go up.
Right.
So your first set, 185. Second set, 225. Third set, 275. That's an aggressive jump.
Yeah.
That's aggressive. And then that 275, that's hard.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what was your first set? 185, which is not even 50%.
Yeah. Right.
What's the next set? You know what I mean? That you're looking at like 65, 70%.
Yeah.
And then that last set, 80% of your 1 rep max should be your 5 rep max.
Right.
So we're probably not even near the 80%. We're probably near like that 65, 70, 75%.
Sure.
Which is, if you look at the total amount of intensity, again, coming back to like weight to 1 rep max to reps ratio,
right,
is relatively low.
Right.
Yeah, 10 is a lot because you're going to be gasping for air. You're going to be like, I can't breathe. That was hard. But you're going to recover fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Think about doing a 5 rep max where you're giving it 100%.
Right.
In all, like, the first rep feels heavy.
Right.
Shit, I got 4 more.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So think about when you finish that 5th one versus the 10 at the 70%.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a complete different feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like I said earlier, it kind of primes you for Fran. Now you've because the heavier weight's going to force you to set into a better position. It's going to cause you, because you can't get sloppy with it, you're going to drop it. So whenever we go to the front squats and the thrusters for Fran, now we're sitting in a better position. We're doing 95 pounds versus, say, building up to 250, 275, which is going to feel like a feather.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's the thought process behind doing something like we did the total. Now we're going to do it in 3 sets and do Fran.
Got it.
Because it's not, like you said, we want to torture you. We want to be like, yeah, let's blow their legs up more. Right. But on the other side, if I'm like, all right, we're going to do 3 heavy sets of 10, then we're going to do Fran the day after we did the total, your CNS is going to be so fried,
right,
your central nervous system, because you just gave it 100% the day before. Now we're going to try to give it a relatively high percentage of your CNS to try to do these sets of 10.
Yep.
Now I want you to give it 100% in this sprint of a workout.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? That's like if you guys out there have ever ran a mile for time, rest 5 minutes and do it again. But I want you to do it as fast as you can every single time.
Yeah, no.
Do you think you're going to be able to repeat that?
No.
Hell no.
Unlikely.
No. So that's a really good question that we get a lot of, like, oh, you guys just torturing our legs today? And it's like, no, we're not.
Right, which kind of leads to my next question.
Mm-hmm.
In Jump Ship, do they have And maybe it's something that's just communicated to you guys, but do they have like a concept or a goal that they're trying to achieve through their programming for the gym? Like, or what was it that kind of sold you guys on like, hey, this is the one?
So I just really
because there's infinite amount of programs.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
so many out there. So what sold me on it was like, so let's take Comp Train. They do an affiliate programming. Tons of affiliates out there subscribe to it. My old gym does. And from what I've heard, and I'm not trying to shit on other programs, it's just me personally, to kind of answer your question, what sold me on this program was that they didn't say no to anything.
Cool.
So we do muscle ups, we do squat snatches, we do handstand walks, we do all these things that make CrossFit and that are flashy.
Yep.
And I really like that because I've heard other people like, I saw Squat University. Do you follow them on Instagram?
I think so. Yeah.
It's a guy. He's a PT. He does,
yeah.
He's way smart. As the Boston people say, he's wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Khakis. Did I say car keys or khakis?
Khakis.
But yeah. So what he said one day was handstand walks are not functional or something like that. Which they're not.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which they're not. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
In what world do you need to walk on your hands? But there's also it's a vestibular. I always say muscle, and I know it's not it because it's not a muscle, but it's more or less when you flip upside down, you come back. It's what keeps you from like feeling dizzy.
Sure.
And literally, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the older you get, the quicker it goes away. So getting upside down is very like. If you ever seen someone like an older person stand up, they lose their balance and fall over.
Yeah.
It's because that vestibular. I can't think of what the hell it is, but anyway, it's that is underdeveloped.
Okay.
So the more developed that is, the less likely they are to lose their balance. So like getting them upside down helps. So like a handstand hold, perfect. You legitimately don't need to do any more than that.
Right.
But like CrossFit, what is a way we perfected our air squat? Now how can we push it a little further?
Right.
We add weight, back squat, front squat, overhead squat, squat snatch, squat clean. We add the more complexity. So handstand hold. Okay, how can we add more complexity? Handstand push up. How can we add more complexity? Handstand walk.
Right.
So it's just a way of just kind of scaling this up to where we kind of keep pushing the needle a little bit further to our capabilities. But what really sold me about Jump Ship versus the other programs was that they didn't pull away from anything. They're not like, okay, these are just everyday people that don't need to, and that's where I have a problem.
Right.
If you tell me, Lambert, you don't need to walk on your hands, you don't need to press anymore because you're already strong. It's like, dude, these are the things that I enjoy. These things I like.
That's what I want to do.
And for those people that don't enjoy the things we do, like the handstand walks, the squat snatches, those, don't do them.
Right.
If you come into class and it's like handstand walks, I don't want to do these. I can't do these. I don't ever want to learn them. Why am I doing these?
Right.
Don't. Let's do a handstand hold.
Right.
We'll do plank shoulder taps.
Yeah.
Now we're working on our core and our shoulder stability. We can do other things.
Right. It's not all or nothing there.
Exactly. Just show up. And if it's something you're like, look, dude, I really don't enjoy doing these. And not for the reasonings that's like, I'm bad at these, therefore I don't like to do them.
Right.
If it's just like I remember somebody one time, we were doing handstand push-ups, and I was trying to teach them how to do it, and they were like, look, I'm not going to the CrossFit Games. Why do I need to learn these? I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're not. But what I'm trying to do is teach you to get upside down and have control. But if you legitimately don't ever want to do these, I'm not going to force you to fucking get upside down.
Yeah.
Like, let's go grab a pair of dumbbells, and we'll do some shoulder presses from a kneeling position. Still get the same kind of benefit. Maybe not as much because you're not controlling your body. But they didn't pull away from anything.
Yeah.
So like going back to the Comp Train, my old gym back home, I remember I was talking to a few people. They're actually doing Jump Ship now.
Okay.
Some of my friends are.
Yeah.
Because I just give them my login stuff, which Seth, I know. If
illegal.
You're not going to listen to this, so I don't really care. But no, it was just because they wanted something more, and in the sense of like, my buddy was like, we've deadlifted one time in the last 6 months. And I was like, really? And because what it is it's they go on like basically like a cycle. It'll be like, this week we're going to squat and press. Next week we're going to deadlift and clean. Next week we're going to, and it goes through this like long cycle. And if you miss, say like that Thursday, you're not going to deadlift again for another 2 weeks. And if you miss that Thursday, you're not going to deadlift heavy for. So it's like some of my friends are like, yeah, I haven't done push presses in 6 months. You know, and it's just because they work, they have kids, you know, they have a spouse, they
life
have,
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make it in on that day.
Right.
So it's just kind of like ruins that with jump ship, with the jump ship 90 versus the class. So jump ship 90 is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is a recovery day / off day. Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
But as a business, and as I just mentioned, life happens. We can't just shut down our gym on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because some people, that's their Monday. Some people, that's their Wednesday. So they got to come in. So what they do is they do a revolving recovery day.
Okay.
And it'll be either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on the week. And to kind of touch on that recovery day, I've had some people like, this was a recovery workout? Because, again, you got to look at it as volume.
Right.
As volume and intensity in the sense of, like, if I remember I keep sidebarring, but I was talking to Tommy one time about why he likes the machines, the erg, so much. And he said because you can get a ton of work on them and they don't destroy you. He was like, let's take an hour's worth of training on a ski erg, a bike, a rower. Right, let's do that. In your mind, you're like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, no,
whatever.
It's a no for me.
Okay, so let's take that same training session, but let's do it in wall balls, thrusters, burpees, push-ups. Think about it, how bad sore you're going to be if we're going to do an hour's worth of wall balls.
Yeah, I'd rather do the erg.
Right, because you know that it's going to suck.
Yeah,
but it's not going to beat you up for the next 2 or 3
right.
days. So whenever we do like a recovery day, that's the thought process. We're moving through range of motion. We don't name a recovery day that we've done heavy lifting on. None. Most of the time it's skill, like let's work on muscle ups, handstand push-ups, handstand walk, pull-ups.
Right.
Toes up. It'll be some skill that we just need like 10 minutes to practice. Then we do some kind of workout where it's like we're going to get out of breath. We're going to be dying by the end of it, if that's the option you choose.
Yeah.
Or you can just pace yourself through it and just move for 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Or you can try to do that because it'll be like every 4 minutes for whatever. You can try to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't make it in on another day.
Right, exactly.
So I thought that was cool too, is it's a choose your own option kind of day.
Yeah.
If it's like every 4 minutes and if you were to push, you can finish it in 2, have 2 minutes of rest, or you can finish it in 4 minutes. So you're just going to walk through 24 minutes of movement.
Right.
So I really liked that. I like the idea that we don't turn turn away from any movements, and I like the idea that we have built-in recovery days.
Yeah, that's nice.
I loved those two things because I thought that it was very, very beneficial for the everydayers. Because how many my ideal, or like the best case scenario, I should say, is I have everybody in our gym that comes. I want them to come 6 days a week.
Yep.
Monday through Saturday. You come in 1 hour, 6 days a week. Perfect. And my thought process is if you can only make 3, cool. That's fine. 4 is better.
Sure.
5 is better. 6 is better. 3 works.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And any more days that you can add is going to help you get towards your goals, but you still need those pullback days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you need to go in and move and dance, your specialty.
Dance it out.
Come in and dance and kind of be like, okay, the pressure's off. I don't have to push as hard today. I can just kind of dick around and feel good.
Just dance.
Just 2 of us. You and but and then on Sundays, maybe go for a hike. Maybe you just sit and watch TV all day.
Yeah.
Maybe just hang out with family.
Right.
You get 2 days a week of recovery, and then you get 5 good hard days of working.
Yeah. I think that's great. I actually do enjoy the jump ship quite a bit.
I was going to ask you what's your opinion on it.
I think I like that there's options for both what the class and then what the Froggy stuff has. I think I usually will treat anything that's like in the Froggy as just like if I want to do something extra.
Yeah.
I don't put a whole lot of pressure on myself to do it.
Good.
Although I will do usually something extra credit every day. It's not always what is on there, but it's a cool option, I think. And there's a lot of really cool workouts that are in there. But I think a lot of what some other questions are like, and when you talk about, we're going to retest these, right? Like you said that multiple times this week. What's like Jump Ship's plan to help everyone improve, right? Because like if 3 months from now we retest these and like nothing's any better, shit's worse.
Right.
What is going to happen over these next few months to help people improve on those benchmarks?
So with CrossFit, the at least from what I've understood, from the methodology, all those things, if you just do CrossFit, you're going to get better at CrossFit.
Right.
If you just come in, put in the work really hard, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Like the you might have heard this. I'm sure we've talked about it. You could do, let's say you have the smartest person for CrossFit methodology in the world. They give you the perfect fucking program. They're like, Lambert, this is going to make you the fittest person in the world.
Nice.
Do this. And you're like, this sucks. I hate it. I don't want to do this. I'm not having fun.
Right.
Everything hurts. Do you think that you're going to get something out of it?
Nope.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Let's say you have some Joe Schmo down the road that just got his L1 that's like super fucking pumped about CrossFit. And he's like, dude, let me just write you the workout. It's going to be so much fun. And you feel his energy and he's in there with you like, oh man, I didn't see that. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll, and it's like he makes the environment or she makes the environment super fun.
Right.
And you're like, man, I really can't wait to go in tomorrow because, they make it fun. You're going to see better results doing that program versus the perfect program.
Yeah.
Because the placebo effect of it being a fun and exciting environment is going to make you progress.
Right.
So the kind of idea of CrossFit is if you just do CrossFit, give it your all, have a good time, high five some people, come back the next day, you're going to see improvement.
Yeah.
But I always want to use the word caveat, and I legit don't know what it really means.
Yeah, but the caveat, I think, like
I've heard people say
the little tidbit with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
I think it's just
someone
another
like us.
fancy word for like but.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Comma but.
Yeah.
But take people like us. Like I've been in this for 10 years. Like you've been in it for how long have you been in CrossFit? 6 years, 7 years,
6,
5 years.
Like that.
And then you have tons of hours of previous exercise.
Right.
Someone for like you to get you to progress and PR and someone like me is going to be a lot harder than someone who just signed up yesterday.
Right.
Because you have your newbie, your beginner PRs are constant because you're learning things neuromuscular and also muscular. So it's like you're slowly putting those things together. With someone like us, we have all those kind of things in line pretty close. Getting that 1% improvement is going to be hard. What their actual goal is, like I haven't looked at. I can go look at it now because they give me a month in advance worth of programming for affiliates. I can go and look and see, but I haven't yet. I was going to look today after we leave here. I don't know what they're like, how they're going to program in a way of like making me better at Amanda, making me better at Randy, making me better mile runner. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you just go in and day out and push and give it your all, you will see progress. But like you said, we're gonna like I said it a million times, we're gonna retest it in December. That's when they announced it. Having a benchmark, because I know that like I myself have heard a few complaints like, oh, I hate doing these. Like, why do I need to build to a 1 rep max? Like, this is stupid. Like, why do I need to test these workouts?
Right.
The core belief behind CrossFit is test and retest, test and retest to see if you're getting better, because the definition of fitness before CrossFit was just you go work out.
Yeah.
Like if someone does a marathon or a mile or like a 5K or any of those things, people are like, oh, what was your 5K time? And it was like, oh, it was 28 minutes and 34 seconds. Cool. They don't go, what was your 5K time? I don't know. I just did it.
Right.
And it was like, what do you mean? Because they always tell you your time. Because when you redo it, you're trying to progress and do better. Same thing with these things, like what's your 1 rep max? And kind of coming back, the hard thing about CrossFit is CrossFit literally encompasses everything.
Yeah.
In the fitness world, like what's your marathon, what's your half marathon, what's your mile, what's your 400, what's your 200, what's your 100, what's your do all those with a weight vest.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's just running. You know what I mean? Okay, so now let's go to what's your 1 rep max snatch, what's your 10 rep max snatch, what's your overhead squat. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many elements to CrossFit to test, and it's like we just try to test across the board. That way we don't have like spikes in one direction. Like Nikki, she was getting so much better at like weightlifting. She was hitting PRs left and right. Same with Brian. But if you were to look at her like this, kind of like a little geek for you on the video game, like there was always this spider web in these video games, and it'd be like dexterity and all these different things, and you'd have this spider web that would spread. The smarter you got, the stronger you got, it would like kind of form certain ways. Same thing applies to CrossFit. Like what is like Nikki's would be like super high in running, but not so high in weightlifting. Right. So it's like, how can we maybe we pull that back a little bit and extend, so we try to make you more of a well-rounded person as opposed to someone who just runs a lot. Because if someone that just runs a lot, they're what's called skinny fat, which just means that they don't have very much muscle. They're subcutaneous fat. They're the fat around your organs, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, is going to be a lot more than someone who does like weightlifting, because they're a little bit leaner in the sense of like they have more weight, more muscle mass, those things. Right. So to kind of answer your question, I don't know like what that looks like, but I'm sure that they have a plan. Right. Because the last thing you want to do as a programmer, as a gym owner, is, hey, test this. In 3 months, I want you to test it again, and I hope you fail. Yeah, exactly. Because you want to see PRs because it's going to excite you to see what else you can do. Yeah. If you hit a 300-pound back squat, man, what if I could do 315? What would that look like? Man, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? I hit a 300-pound back squat. My goal for you is next month to hit a 250. And you probably blow no ring. Right. That's my goal as a gym owner, because it's like that sucks. Yeah. No one wants to see that. Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so unique for me about CrossFit and what we just did this past week with the testing is just that it's all measurable, right? Repeatable and measurable. I don't remember what the exact phrase for that. Observable.
Yeah, observable, measurable, repeatable.
Yeah.
I think.
And there was... So like Diane that we did on Monday and Randy, I had never done, which is shocking. Like I've done
versions.
Versions of Randy and versions of Diane, but didn't have a time for those. So like I got to really just go into it like this is the first time. So now I am very interested to see like what we'll be doing over the next 6 months or whatever until we retest those
and improve those,
see how that feels a little bit different. Right. And be like, okay, well maybe this is like my back squat was a lot higher on the CrossFit total, not a lot higher, 10 pounds higher than it was last time, but we've been back squatting a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or we've been doing a lot of just squatting with jump ship. Yeah. Shoulder press in deadlift were slightly down, but I do notice we don't do as much shoulder press.
And that is something that I was going to touch on earlier, but looking at the class programming that they give me, sometimes I do look at it and I'm like, okay, and I'll change it. I'll make a change based off of how I feel. And that's just me personally. Like they do their programming for their gym and their gym follows that 100% to the T. Right. Whereas I don't like some of the stuff. Like you said, like sometimes we'll do like wall balls on Monday, front squats on Tuesday, squat cleans on Wednesday, a ton of running on Thursday, and then some other squat variation on Friday.
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson. Those are natural reactions.
That
he had. Yeah. They literally. Okay, I thought that was cool. Movie trivia. But sometimes I look at that and I'm like, dude, we need a rest, because when I used to do the programming, I'd program out the week, and let's say Wednesday, something was a lot more sore than I thought. Right. I would make changes on to Thursday, Friday based on how I felt. So I do the same thing for class too. It's like I'll listen if I have, let's say like 90% of the people are kind of like moving on a Wednesday. I'm like, okay, maybe we should change up Thursday. Right. So I still make those changes based on how I feel and how I see the gym, because at the end of the day, it is mine and Britt's gym, and I want you guys to get the best out of that hour. And if I'm just beating you in the floor because I chose to follow this program for you guys, then I'm not looking out for your best interest. I'm just looking out for simplicity and what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've actually really enjoyed Jump Ship. I like that we do all of the things, right? Like the old gym before Jump Ship, like handstand walk wasn't like a thing.
I programmed that like once every couple months, maybe.
Yeah. Ring muscle-ups were like
very seldom. Yeah.
No rope climbs ever.
Because we didn't have any.
Yeah. And that's we don't do that a ton, but when it's in there, it's like, nice, we have them, we can do it. So I've actually really enjoyed what we've done, and the workouts that they come up with are hard. Like we have hard weeks, and I feel like that's kind of a common thing. And for me, and I think everybody, we want to come in and spend our hour or a little bit longer and leave feeling better than we came in.
Right. And feeling accomplished, feeling like you went in and you did something and left.
Yep.
And that's and that's kind of, I think, a valid point that's lost in the kind of hubbub of every day coming in and doing stuff. Is like, a lot of times people are like, yeah, but I scaled it. I'm like, dude, are you sweaty? Did you get out of breath?
Yeah.
Then you did what you came in.
You got off the couch.
Yeah, you came in and did what you needed to.
Right.
Because just because you didn't do the RX weight or the RX movement doesn't mean that you didn't try.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes jump ship hard, is because I feel like for me, programming, I program to the peak of my knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to venture out, was because I don't know, I feel like as a person, you should know the peak of your knowledge and try to push that. So like the peak of my knowledge is the everyday person / the local competition person.
Right.
I know it's going to come up in local comps. I have an idea. Like, it's rare that I do a competition and I'm like, okay, didn't expect that
movement.
Yeah, exactly. Or didn't expect that weight or, something like that. But Seth works with games athletes.
Right.
So his expectations and knowledge is like so much higher than mine.
Yeah.
So it's like at the games they, do X snatches. Like the one year it was they did the rope climbs, the heavy squat snatches and 400-meter run, and it was like the weight was 185. That's not heavy for someone like us, but it gets heavy in a workout. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, wow, all right, I really wouldn't have probably programmed that.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'm going to be pushed out of my comfort zone and try that.
Yeah.
So when we do something like that for class, it's not to say, hey, I want to make all of you feel weak because you can't do it. It's like the ceiling is so much higher. So your room for growth is going to be so much better,
right? Rather
than being like your ceiling is here because you're going to slow way down. It's like your ceiling is way up there, and you just kind of see this. It can be detrimental to your like excitement to want to go in because you're like, I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But if you look at it in, wow, let's say that the ceiling is 100 feet high, and I make it to 60 feet as opposed to the ceiling is 50 feet high and I only made it to 40 feet.
Right.
You made it to the 90% or 95% of the 50 foot.
Yeah.
But if you went to 60 foot of the 100 foot, you're at 60%, but you're so much higher than you would have been.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it with Seth. Like you're talking about, the workouts are so much harder because he programs for the top in the world and then scales it down.
Right. Well, and what I would say too is what you're really starting to see in here lately is yesterday was like a training camp. Did you notice that? It was like Saturday after the kind of class 9:30. There was like little pods of people wanting to do more.
Yeah.
And that's not just Saturdays. I've noticed that like
throughout the week.
And I think it's really cool that whether these groups are getting it from, the Froggy stuff that's posted, or they are just finding stuff online or whatever that is. I think it's pretty cool that the programming that I think we're doing through Jump Shipping class is pushing people enough that they want to work on more so that they get better.
Exactly. And I think that's super cool. And as long as it's, when it's guided in the right direction, I mean, like, you're not doing something that's going to hurt you in the sense of like you're repeating the same movements over and over and over. But yeah, I think it's so cool. Like I've had this conversation with numerous people talking about like your everydayers. Do they need to be doing all this extra stuff? And do they need to? The answer probably at the end of the day is no.
Yeah.
Do they need? No.
Yep.
Do they need to go eat that cheeseburger? No. Do they need to go like when last night got a huge ice cream thing? No. I didn't need that.
No.
But I wanted it.
Yeah.
So why not let them do it?
Right.
So I love that. And then I was talking to, I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but I was like, it'd be cool if we did like once a month on a Saturday from like say noon to 2, like we do a training camp.
Yeah.
Where we do like whoever wants to come in, all ability levels. We're going to do team workouts. We're going to go over some like pacing stuff. We're going to go over like technique, like let's all snatch, and I'm going to walk around and coach while I snatch, and you can coach me.
Right.
I think that'd be so cool just because I think it would bring us all together closer as a gym.
Yeah.
And then also, too, it's like it's exciting. Like, oh, next Saturday's the camp. Can't wait to go.
Right. But it's like a day. Like you're going to spend your day.
Exactly. Your day is here.
We're going to take a break for lunch, and like that would be really fun.
Yeah, and I thought that would be super awesome. And invite people from other gyms.
Right.
Hey, we're doing a training camp every third Saturday of the month.
That'd be cool.
Come and hang out. If you don't, you don't. You do, you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super cool because it was me, you, Shane, Presley. You had Nick and Greg and Lewis doing their Olympic weightlifting. Yeah, like you said, your little pockets of people doing extra stuff. And, and if it makes you excited and you're having fun, why not do it?
Right.
As long as it's not pulling away from anything else,
Yeah, exactly.
do it.
Right.
But no, I did feel that way yesterday. It was kind of like, and it was fun, and that's what the atmosphere I've tried to create during the middle of the day whenever we all come up here and work out is that. But like I said earlier, like some people can't do that.
Right.
But try to create that atmosphere because group fitness, like there's a reason everybody's moving to Froning's gym. There's a reason a lot more people are moving to Vegas to work out with the Shadburn.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're around like people with a positive attitude and like-minded, man, you just tend to just keep raising.
Yeah, it's contagious. It really is contagious, man. And I enjoy that the community of people who are in here, whether they are wanting to stay later on Saturday or they're coming and doing their hour, it is, and we've said it before, I've said it before, this is one of the most welcoming gyms I've ever been to, and I think it's certainly got the most amenities, it's got the most of everything, so the opportunities for people to get better, both with what's programmed and to do some more because they want to work on their six-pack or whatever it is. I think this gym has all of those things to offer.
Cool, and I'm glad that it's seen that way because that's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
When you walk in, no matter if you're brand new or if you're a veteran, like I want you to feel like, cool, I'm welcomed here.
Yep.
Whatever I'm wanting to get out of my fitness, I can get out of it here. You know what I mean? Like I want to come in and do this. And it's awesome that it's kind of accepted that way from the inside looking out. You know what I mean? First thing you walk in and see, because I think the reason why I try to push that on to so many people is because when I started fitness or working out in high school, like I quit for literally my entire life.
Right.
Because I was ripped on. I was made fun of, like, hey, skinny, can't even bench press the bar. And it's like, why are you making me feel bad because of where I started?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't help it that I wasn't blessed with bigger muscles or blessed with, all, I could go down the list of things. But, and it turned me off. So I was like, man, fuck this. Like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, razzing, kind of doing whatever. But no, it was like legitimate, like, I'm better than you and I'm going to let you know it.
That's terrible.
And that sucks. And no one wants to be in that. Like, I don't want to go into an environment where someone makes me feel bad for being here.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you are, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I still feel that way to today.
I agree.
Anytime I go into any place, it could be a restaurant, it could be someone's house, it could be, and if someone tries to make me feel worse for being who I am, I'm either going to fist fight you or I'm leaving.
Or I'm leaving. I'm going to remove myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I just leave.
Yeah.
But, and as a gym, you have like your bros in your regular gym, and there's so much, as people say, testosterone and aggro and blah, 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 all these different things. And it's like, let's create a space that you can still go in and lift heavy as hell.
Right.
And not be shunned.
Yeah.
You can go in and not know how to lift and not be shunned.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I've tried to build the space as.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'd love if there's other places that offer those kind of things and that kind of workout lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to know what it is, because any other gym I've ever been to is uncomfortable and intimidating. And I mean, even, like I know you and I have talked about it before, of you when you go to the pool or whatever to swim and you're just like feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like I almost swear that I will never go into another Vasa to work out.
Right.
Like if I'm going to go and like lift weights, I'm just not going to do it because that environment is so nasty to me.
So bad.
With just the environment is
like
just
the
so
bravado,
uncomfortable. I'm like, I can't do this. And people who are able to do it and get results, good. I mean, that is awesome, but I can't do it. I can't take my Beats headphones and like, deep cut shirts and do that anymore. I did it for a while and it was hard.
Yeah.
It was not enjoyable.
Like I was doing that a few months ago, where I'd go to sit in a sauna, do some lifting, and then go home and then come here and work out and whatever. And it, like, I own a fucking gym.
Yeah.
Me and my wife own and run a gym.
Yeah.
Like this is what I do for a living.
We're gonna put a pool right here.
Yeah. What I'm just saying. Yeah,
swim wall to wall.
I'm down. Let's. We're gonna this Saturday. We're gonna have a fundraiser. We need to raise $1 million.
Madison's gonna be washing cars topless.
Yes. I'll be wearing a Speedo.
That's the fundraiser.
It's gonna be real nice. But like whenever I go in there, like I feel judged. And I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I have years of experience. and yet I still feel this way. Like I have in my headphones, but that's what I think. That's what the shitty part is like. I remember one day I was working out and this guy just kept giving me like this shit look because every time I'd use the machine, I'd step off, he'd go over there and change it to what he needed, and then when he would step off, I'd go change it. But every time I walked back over there, he gave me this shit look, and I finally took my headphones off. I said, "Hey," and he took his on. I said, "It's cool that I work in with you, right?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, man, yeah." And I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, if I'm getting in your way, messing your sets up, just let me know, and I'll move on." And it was like his face just completely changed.
Yeah,
his attitude completely changed. It turned into, "You got it, bro. Let's work in together."
Yeah.
And it was that moment of, oh, he's just a person too.
Yeah.
Not from me,
exactly.
but from him to me. Because I was like, yeah, dude, I'll just work in with you. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was from him to me. I was stepping into his
Got
territory,
it.
stepping
you were in his space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
You
that's
were
how,
a threat to him at that time.
Yes. And that's how it is there is every person is a threat. You see like those. I remember one day like this woman, I was in there squatting and it was like 2 racks over. And
she was doing double the weight.
100% double the weight. No, she was doing she did like butt exercises like women do.
Yeah.
In there, they see
butt
all the
stuff.
Instagram,
The
butt stuff that
Yes.
women like to do.
Yeah.
But she was doing like hip bridges, like lunges, or I can't remember everything. But like I remember, like just out of the corner of my eye, I see her take off her like hoodie. She had it tied around her waist. She took it off. She did her hip bridges, stood up, put it back on, did her lunges, did a bunch of stuff, went back to her hip bridges, took it off.
Yeah.
No, it was partially, but it was about the like, I don't want people to stare at me, to check me out, to do stuff. So I think she was trying to cover herself up in the areas where people were looking at her, and then she would have to uncover herself to do certain exercises.
Oh.
And I was sitting there thinking like, damn, that sucks.
That's a lot
like,
of work.
Yeah. I'm like, you're taking the extra time and work and effort in order to cover yourself up.
Yeah.
To keep these, because there's a guy over here on the fucking calf machine that's been sitting there for 45 minutes just staring.
Well, I apologize because I thought this story was going somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's doing it because she wants to look cute, but
No.
she's legitimately
doing
having
it to hide herself from other people.
Avoid the perverts.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like this is an environment where you pay $30 a month for some pervert just to go sit on the calf machine and check out. I remember one guy, he was checking out other dudes, but he was probably like in his 70s or 80s.
Nice.
Fucking creep. I mean, like perv. Like I don't care. You can look at me all day.
Yeah.
Fucking have fun.
It was when he whistled at you.
Yeah, that's what threw it off. And I was like, listen, I'm wearing my Daisy Dukes, and I don't want you looking at me. But no, it just like it give me the heebie-jeebies, and I'm just like, and I'm a dude that I know that I could protect myself if it come down to it. But if I'm like a petite, small person, and then you have like this weird dude that's gonna follow you out to your car, it's like that's another part of that environment that's weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have like your I'm stepping into your territory. You have your, but anyway, like. Yeah, so I'm the same way. Like as soon as I go into those places, I'm like, when me and Britt go in there, I'm just like sideballing all the dudes because I'm like, I know you're checking her out. Yeah. I know you know what I mean. But it is what it is. It's gonna happen. But
you've got your chest all puffed out.
That's right.
Yeah,
CrossFit across my shirt. Like,
yeah.
I'm kipping pull up my way right out of here.
Yeah, that's right. Screw all you guys. But one question I did have is kind of back more related to program, and because you guys are seeing more people wanting to do extra stuff, right?
Yeah.
And if it's not like something that's been put in the froggy, and there's people looking for extra stuff, what are good resources for people to like to think about or to look through to find maybe some extra credit stuff to do?
So first you have to think of if you're like, man, I really just want to do some extra stuff after each class or whatever, from how I would look at this as top down is, okay, so why are you wanting to do extra stuff? And I don't necessarily mean like, who are you as a person?
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, why are you wanting to do extra stuff? Is it because your strength numbers aren't as where you want them to be? Your gymnastics isn't as where you should want to be. Maybe your breathing isn't where you want it to be. Those kinds of things. Like maybe your flexibility isn't where it should be for like, maybe you can't get in the right positions for like certain lifts. Look at those 4 things and go down the list. And if it's not one, if it's not whatever. So let's take weightlifting. Let's say my weightlifting isn't where I want it to be, the strength stuff. Do the little things outside of class that we normally wouldn't, like Bulgarian split squats, single arm presses, maybe more bench press because we haven't been doing that much. They don't program that much, which is depressing.
Just did that today.
No, I saw that. Got a little jealous. But yeah, so that's one way to look at it. Then there's certain resources out there that you can look into, like Henshaw. He's the endurance guy for CrossFit.
Yep.
He does, like, you name a top athlete. He
Chris
does
Henshaw, an aerobic capacity.
Yep, aerobic capacity. So look that up. So he does a lot of like intervals, running, rowing, biking, like all these things to kind of help you with your breathing. There's Greg. Talk to Greg about extra Olympic weightlifting to work technique, work strength, those kinds of things. Gymnastics, you can basically Google CrossFit gymnastics, and there's tons of videos and stuff like that of how to do stuff. But I'd say from vast majority of our gym, and this was the same for my old gym back home, I'd say our biggest weakness as a gym is gymnastics.
Yeah.
And the reasoning for that is that if I'm teaching you a weightlifting movement, I can give you a PVC pipe.
Yep.
And we can do the whole movement with the PVC pipe, right? Full squat snatch. We're going to start from mid shin. Even if it looks atrocious and you muscle it and do all this horse shit stuff, you still do the movement.
Yeah.
If I'm like, all right, we're going to work on ring muscle ups, there's not a PVC pipe version of that.
Yeah.
I can use low rings. I can use all these different things to kind of mimic it, but there's no real world application of this is how it's going to feel.
And something that takes way more time. All of the gymnastics movements take way more time to get down than anything else.
Yes, I agree with you. And those kinds of things, you just need practice.
Yeah.
Practice. Can't say that enough. But like those, I'd say like vast majority of the people, like the 7 p.m. class, every time I coach them, which is Monday, Tuesday, Friday, which I'm sure they do throughout the rest of the week, they all get together in like this little group that's gotten pretty good friends in the gym.
Yep.
They all grab bands and they start doing strict pull-ups. How many can you do today?
Oh, cool.
It'll be with bands. It'll be like, oh, we can't do any with that band. Let's add 3 more bands.
Yeah.
And they'll get to where they'll do like a couple, and they're like pushing each other. And I'm
that's awesome.
Me and Britt just kind of sit back. We're like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're pulling everybody in, and someone will be like, oh, I can't do that. And they're like, no, you can. And they'll strap up some bands,
Right.
and they'll be like, this is how you do it. It's how I started. And they're like, cool. I got 1 today.
Yeah.
I had 14 bands on my foot, but I got 1,
Yeah.
And it's like, that's perfect.
Right.
And it's like their goals are to do a pull-up.
That's so cool.
You know what I mean? Like, or let's add, I can already do 5. Let's see if I can do 10. Oh, I can't do 10.
Right.
All right. And so they're doing extra credit pull-ups every day. And I don't even know if they realize what they're doing for each other. They're doing the community aspect and all that stuff. But I think it's way cool. So to kind of give you, so Drew, that comes into the 4 o'clock mainly, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He asked me one day, he's like, hey, I want to do some extra credit. He's like, I normally show up about 30 minutes early, and I would love to be able to do some extra cardio. He's like, to help warm me up, those kinds of things. Do you have any like things? On the froggy stuff, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's always what I put in there, extra credit or extra weightlifting, extra cardio, extra gymnastics. There's always 2 slots that there's extra, and it'll be one of each for each day. It'll be like weightlifting and cardio, or gymnastics and cardio, or gymnastics and weightlifting. There's always extra stuff in there. Then that was another reason why I really liked the jump ship stuff, is because there's extra stuff that's not going to affect the rest of the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the worst thing that you can do is, I'm going to do some extra back squats today. Well, tomorrow we're doing a 1 rep max back squat.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, well, here we go. I'm glad I wore myself out yesterday.
Right.
But I really like that because it doesn't mess up the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to do some extra stuff throughout the week, go on the froggy track, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and look. There's always 2 extras.
Right.
The only day there won't be will be Thursdays.
Okay.
And
I think that's actually kind of a good point too. Is I think there's a good amount of people who maybe don't understand sugar WOD and how it works, and I don't think we've ever talked about the importance of tracking your workouts, especially like. For me, especially like the weightlifting stuff and the benchmark workouts, I think are really important. Whether you keep it on private, which I think a lot of people do, so they still have records and percentages and that kind of stuff, or you make it public so you can do the fist bump stuff. I think it's really important for people to keep track of that kind of stuff, because things like this past week are gonna come up again, and it is nice to have something to look back on, or hey, we're gonna do the the 60% of your back squat for 5 today. Okay,
Yep.
well, I need to find my 60%, not be like, oh, I'm just going to do this till this feels heavy.
Yep.
Because inevitably, that's what I feel like happens.
Yes.
Right? Is like, if you don't have anything to look back on, you just keep going until you're like, oh, maybe this was too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or maybe it wasn't quite
Or
your
wasn't
60%.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. No, with tracking, like, whenever people are like, well, I don't really care to, get on the fist bumps, the leaderboard.
Right.
I always tell
get
them,
that.
please just at least track your benchmarks and your weightlifting.
Right.
Because I remember, so Sharanya, you may have met her. She comes into I think 5 o'clock most days. I remember when I first started her one-on-ones, on our second session, we teach the deadlifts, and then we build to a safe heavy one, heavy single. And I remember we were working on that. She goes, I've deadlifted 80 pounds before. And I was like, that's awesome. In the back of my head, I'm like, we're going to beat that today.
Yeah.
And we did. I think she deadlifted like 115 pounds
awesome.
or 120, something like that. And then she was like, wow, that was pretty heavy. What was that? And I told her, and she was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, I told you we would do more than that.
Right.
Or in the back of my head, I said that. But I was like, yeah, I know, because you can do more than that with better technique.
Yeah.
And she's kind of tracked her way. And she started out it's like every other week. She's like, I lifted more than I did last week.
So
or
cool.
she'll be like, I don't really know where to start. Like, I'll be like, all right, guys, let's do 5 sets of 10, whatever, I'm just making shit up. 5 sets of 10 back squats, build to a heavy set of 10.
Yeah.
Or I'll say use X%. And she was like, I just don't really know what to do. Or I'll say, let's build up to a 1 rep max. And she's like, well, what jump should I make? And I'm like, well, if you looked on that, you could go 50%, 60%, 70%, 75%, 80. And there's your numbers right there, because you're going to build to that one and then see if you can do more.
Right.
So it's like, with tracking, to kind of make your point a little bit harder, is that there's so many benefits to tracking, because now you can see your progress, for one, that keeps you excited, because the worst part's the burnout, like we talked about before. The progress and the PRs kind of push that at bay, keep that at bay.
Right.
And then also is you can make progress by doing the percents, by seeing what you've done before, by keeping track of your progress. You can see your just track of progress moving up.
Yep. Right. Yeah. No, I love it. And then you did, because you mentioned the froggy track, and if you're ever curious about that, ask anyone. Any of the coaches.
If you pull up SugarWOD, it has the picture at the top, and then right below it says workout of the day.
Yep.
Click that, just tap that with your finger, and it'll bring up a list.
It'll
say workout of the day, froggy athletes, and there's like Ute Kids is what Britt puts in for the kids class. But if you just click froggy, and there's a way of going through that.
Right, for people to see it.
But kind of coming back a little bit full circle. Not really full circle. We haven't even touched on this yet. But
life is like a circle.
Like a circle. You're outside of the circle. You need to be in the circle. But to kind of the whole Froggy, RX Plus, competitors, all those tracks, like, when should you and when should you not choose to do those things, I think needs to be touched on a little bit more. Like, I have it because I would much rather give you the options and you choose, than me saying you have to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, my job is to guide you in the right direction of you as a person, whoever that is. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because you're an adult. But you're here. I'm gonna guide you and give you suggestions. If you look at those Froggy workouts and you're like, man, I cannot do any of those RX. I cannot do any of those. And then you look at the class versions of the workouts and you're like, I can't even do those RX.
Yep.
You probably shouldn't be doing the Froggy stuff.
Right.
Because it's like, I'm going to learn to run a mile. Oh, okay, these people are doing marathons. I'll just go do less of that, but still say I did that.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? Same. It's not the same. And that's not to put anybody down. That's not to say you shouldn't, you can't, you won't ever. Because believe me, when I started, I couldn't do any of that shit.
Yeah.
But it's to pick and choose. Like, for what I think is, once you're able to do, I'd say 80% of class workouts RX'd, then start trying to do some of the Froggy stuff, because then it'll get you out of your comfort zone. It'll push you, those things. But if you're trying to do the Froggy workouts, but you're scaling everything. I mean, to where it's almost not even the same workout.
Yeah.
Then what are you doing?
What's the point?
Yeah, just do the class stuff because it is a variation of a scaled version of the Froggy stuff.
Right.
Do that, complete that, do well, then try to do the other stuff.
Right.
That's not to say you can't, but
you'll get the same intensity out of it then.
Yes, exactly. Because like we've touched on in the past, there is a rhyme and reason behind the workouts.
Yeah.
It's not just to throw random shit together and say go do it, right? I mean, as much as people like to think that.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it looks like that.
Yes, most definitely. Like, what's the pattern here?
Yeah.
But it is to get the stimulus. Like let's say we're doing squat cleans and the weight's 225 for guys, and you're trying to do, and you're like, man, I can't do that. I'm gonna do 135, but class is doing 155, but you're still trying to do the Froggy. It's like, why? Try to do the class and meet that expectation, then move
go faster. I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, exactly. I've said that so many times. It's like, well, if you can do it, then go faster.
Yeah.
Because I remember those, we talked about Randy, how he did it unbroken, which is super impressive.
It goes quicker if you don't put the bar down.
That is true story. Just hit the ball in the hole from the first time.
Then I only have to hit it,
just do
18
that.
times.
Just do that every time.
Yeah.
Little Happy Gilmore reference.
Yeah, that's
right. But no, like a guy, we talked about this guy that I had back home, his name is EA. He was like, man, 75 pounds, that's nothing for a snatch.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, just do it unbroken then.
Right.
He didn't. He wanted to do 95, and he changed his mind after 20. But it's like there's a reasoning for the weights. It's like I remember so many times we've done thrusters at 95 pounds, and Nate loads 135, and I'm like, bro, you sure about that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, thrusters are like nothing for me. I was like, cool. The reps are 30. Do all 30. And he goes, okay. And he does.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, you can do that.
Yeah.
And he knows his strengths and weaknesses, so he's able to do that. But like the Froggy stuff, the competitor stuff, if you're looking to doing that, there's been so many times that people dropped into the gym and they're like, oh, I'm a CrossFit Mayhem athlete. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, you must be pretty good. And it's like, as a guy, their 1 rep snatch is 115.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I'm not mad at you for doing it, but it's like you're literally doing the programming that's taking people that are good to the semifinals, to the games.
It's not necessarily designed for you.
Yeah, not the beginner
for
that's
you to
trying,
get better.
Yeah, exactly. It's not for the beginner that's trying to learn how to snatch.
Yep.
That's trying to learn how to do ring muscle ups. I'm sure he has like scaling options and programs for that, but it's like if you're doing the competitors, what's Rich doing, and you're just brand new to CrossFit, it's like, what
you're
are we
not
going
to get much out of that.
Exactly. Yeah, you're missing a lot of the points. But no, so if you're wanting to look at those things, look at them. They're there. If you want to try some of them, by all means do it. Ask your coach, and we'll help walk you through it, or just be like, yeah. So this is what this is. But if you're at a point where you're still scaling 90% of the workouts in class, maybe it's like a 4 rounds with a 12-minute cap, and you're getting capped every day, you maybe shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I remember I had a conversation with the same guy that I got the jump ship stuff from, and I was like, dude, there for a while, I wasn't meeting the cap on anything.
Yeah,
I was getting time capped on everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I messaged him. I was like, dude, are you guys finishing this? And he's like, yeah, barely, but, we are. And he's like, as long as you're getting under the cap, you're fine to keep doing this programming. And I was like, ooh, okay, well, I'm not meeting the cap on any of them.
Right.
So maybe I need to start scaling. So I did.
Yeah.
So I had to start scaling maybe the reps, or if like the weight was too heavy and the reps were high, I'd be like, okay, let's pull the weight back, or let's pull the reps back. Like just me personally, I knew myself. So it was like I wasn't able to meet the caps. So I started scaling stuff to try to meet the caps, because at the end of the day, it's what it's about. There's a reason there's a 12-minute cap on that workout.
Right.
There's a reason there's a 15-minute cap on that workout. It's not like Fran is a fast workout.
Right.
Ideally, it should be under 5.
Right.
But for vast majority of the people, let's make it under 10. But if it's taking you 18, 20 minutes to do Fran,
you've missed it.
No, just do air squats and jumping pull-ups.
You've done a lot of standing around probably.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, like, your heart rate is just super through the floor.
Right.
Which it should be spiked, because that's the nature of the workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and that kind of goes along with the kind of conversation we're having with the Froggy. If you can't do a vast majority of them as near RX or close, because of like weight or skill or something like that, probably should try the other versions to see if you can meet to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there was something I was going to touch on, and you do a really good job of fading from conversation to conversation. Do you have like a question or something?
I'm more curious about the CrossFit affiliate programming. Have you seen that?
Yes.
So I don't know a ton about it. I listened to Talking Elite Fitness a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about that it was getting rolled out, and they had X amount of gyms already sign up. But what is it? It's CrossFit's own affiliate program, like Jump Ship, but it's going to come from CrossFit HQ.
Yes, but that's what's interesting is that if you were to look at CrossFit.com, they have programming that you can follow, and it's 3 on, 1 off.
Right.
That's the only thing that's weird about that is so what a lot of people do is they'll backtrack like a couple weeks and they'll follow so they can make
just
it fit
keep going
in the 6 day, 5 days on, whatever. But the CrossFit affiliate programming, I'm interested to see how they handle that because the way their old programming was like 10K run.
Yeah.
Fran. It'd be 30 bar muscle ups for time. Like that was the CrossFit HQ CrossFit.com.
Workout of the day.
Yeah. And then they started doing a program to where they'd have that, and then they'll have like all the scaling options, or and then they started doing like as an affiliate, this is how you would teach this. They started doing all that. So I'm really interested to see what that looks like. One of the guys I listened to, Arm & Hammer, he was talking about like, he's like in the future, they're probably going to try to make this mandatory for your gym to follow.
I was wondering that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was, and because even I was starting to think, I'm like, okay, well, there's going to be stuff that is only talked about within the CrossFit affiliate programming that then is going to come out in the open and stuff. And the rest of us are like, what the hell is this movement?
Yeah. And that's one of the downfalls or problems with CrossFit and the CrossFit Games. Granted, it's their competition that they can host, that they can do this thing, but just like how they made the Echo bike the official fan bike of CrossFit, now it's like, well, fuck, I have 10 assault bikes, and it's like, I don't like the Echo bikes. I don't want to change, but they're probably going to have an Echo bike in the open.
Yeah.
So now it's like, we need Echo bikes if we're going to be doing the open,
right?
Which sucks, but it's the same thing that goes from there. Is it's like, no, this is how we're going to handle this, and if you want to participate, you have to follow this rule. And it's like, man, like the NFL doesn't say like they have a parameter of rules, but however you meet those rules is up to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not like, here's how you have to run your program. Here's how you have to do your strength conditioning for your athletes. Here's how you have to, they have to sleep. They have to eat. They don't have all those parameters. They're like, here's the rules for the game.
Right.
Here's the rules for your team, like being a team and affiliated with the NFL, and you have to follow it underneath those guidelines as a team.
Yeah.
Same thing needs to apply to CrossFit. Here's our rules. Here's what's going on, and you just try to do whatever you can to meet that.
And that's how it's been to this point.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm afraid that it's going to come down to, like I said, that's going to be like, hey, like, if you're not following Dave Castro, you're probably not going to see the workouts for the CrossFit Games.
Well, and I think that's when the conversation around like, do you remain a CrossFit gym or not, changes.
Yes.
Because that's different. Like being like, oh, all of these gyms are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Is different.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I think that's more of like
that's a straight franchise.
Yeah, that's more of like an Orange Theory F45 type model, right? They all do the same stuff.
But they all, I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, I don't know, but I think they still make up their own workouts. Okay. Maybe there's a pool that they can pull from, but they still make up their own stuff. But they say like Orange Theory has like the water rowers, the treadmill, and then like the random like dumbbell stuff. And it's like, here's like a format. You can kind of make up your own workouts. But like you said, like, here's your front desk that you have. Here's where your bathrooms are.
They're all cookie cutter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, choo-choo, there's another one. Choo-choo, there's another one. And this is how it's going to be ran. Whereas a CrossFit gym is, you pay for the affiliate name, you get certified in their methodology, and then you go make your own baby.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hope they don't bring that bike into the open.
Yeah.
I think that they won't. Only because, and the only reason I really think that is I've just been to so many gyms where like people have 2 rowers. Like that's all the apparatuses they have. So like I can't imagine
them requiring another.
Yeah, I mean they've made the rower pretty standard, so every gym's gonna have a couple of those. A lot of gyms don't have ski ergs. A lot of gyms don't have assault bikes at all. So now that just feels like a big jump. Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong, but I hope I'm not wrong.
Right. I know that. So we used to have some at our downtown gym, and before we shut it down. And I know that you can go in and change how it reads. Like, me and Nick were fucking around with it, like changing the settings and stuff just to see like how fast it accumulated calories.
Yeah.
We could change that.
Really?
How fast? Yeah, you can
On
go
the rower?
on the Echo Bike.
Okay.
But coming back to the rower, can you do that on the rower outside of the damper? No.
Yeah.
So that's why having the Concept 2 rowers are so good, is because you can't fudge with that.
Yeah.
So if you were to fudge with the settings inside the Echo Bike to be like, okay, well, it's 20 calories, done, move on.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so how do you have that standard based across? Like, do you show that on camera?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That'd
oh, my
get
settings are factory. You know, so I think that kind of muddies the area up a little bit more. So maybe that'll kind of keep them from doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, mostly I was just curious about the
programming,
the CrossFit affiliate programming.
Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to that just to kind of see where it goes.
Right.
Because I'm right there with you. It's like, I really hope that they don't make this mandatory for
I'd be
all
shocked
gyms.
if they did.
Well, I don't know. With the new owner, you never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He comes from a corporate world where it's like things are, this is how you're going to run your company, and you have to run it this way.
Yeah.
But he also comes from CrossFit where it's, we all do our own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. So for like this week of testing, kind of bring it back full circle. This week of testing was good. Where you're out here. You need to be in here. We are going to repeat it in 3 months.
December
is like more than 3 months.
Yeah,
it's like 6 months.
It's like 6 months.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
Christmas in July.
Thank God. Because this is a hard week.
Yep.
But no, we are going to retest them. And however, if it is just a rinse and repeat of the same week, or if it's just, hey, we're going to do these workouts again, different orders or whatever.
Yep.
If it is rinse and repeat of the same week, try to repeat them the exact same, because the order that you do things does change things.
Right.
So like the day we did the mile, like we did like 3 or 4 workouts, then the mile.
Yeah.
I had fucking nothing in the tank. Some people crushed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so it's like the order that you do these workouts in, try to remember them when we get back to it, just because it'll
does make a difference for
makes
sure.
a huge difference. And we want you to see progress. And if, let's say, like we did the 333 workout yesterday, it was 100 fucking degrees. I was dying.
It was awesome.
December, if we repeat it, it's not going to be that hot.
I'm not going to be outside.
No, you're not going to run snow?
No.
I am. Probably not. Probably run on the runner. But no.
Way worse. Maybe I'll run outside.
It will. Yeah. It will make a huge difference because of the weather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
definitely.
So there's going to be different I don't even know what the fucking word I was looking for, but just trying to make sure you do it in the same order. Yeah, there we go. Different elements. Yeah. And in the orders that you do things will make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I hope you guys had fun this week. I know some of you hated it.
Yeah. No, it was a tough week, but I think it was good.
I think the people that have done a majority of these workouts loved it because they got to see like Daniel, he added, I think he said 120 pounds to his total.
That's awesome.
Because he did it when he first started.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's a lot of weight added to your CrossFit total. Whereas some people that have never really done it, they're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is stupid. Why am I finding a 1 rep max? Why am I doing Fran?
Until you do it again.
Yep. And then when you do it again, you see you're, a minute faster, or you see that you're, lifting heavier. It's like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, cool. Yep. This is doing something more than I thought.
Right.
But
No, it was a good week. I do enjoy, like I've said, I like Jump Ship. I like the groove the gym's kind of in right now. I think we're going good places.
Yeah, I do too.
So.
Cool. It's good to have you back, Lambert.
Yeah, felt good until I leave 8:15 a.m. flight tomorrow. So
when are you coming back?
31st, July 31st.
Holy shit.
2 weeks.
Dude. Yeah. All right. Well.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. All right, buddy.
All right, man.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Later.